CITB in Scotland, in partnership with SBATC, developed skills tests on behalf of the construction industry. It's the final part of your apprenticeship, and you need to pass this to become a qualified craftsperson and achieve your SVQ. Passing your skills test should not be too difficult. It's a way of proving that you're capable of doing your job, and if you are, you should be able to pass the test. So here's what you need to know. You will sit your skills test within the last 6 months of your apprenticeship. There are test centres throughout the country, maybe even in your college, and both you and your employer will get plenty notice of where and when your test will take place. At college, you're assessed all the time on what you've learned, and the skills test is just another assessment of your knowledge and hand skills. The only difference is that this test has been designed by CITB, SBATC, and employers. The test has various elements, and all are things you have been trained and tested on before in your phased tests and other assessments in college. Skills tests are based on skills required to perform the sorts of tasks commonly used on sites. This proves to employers that you can work competently to commercially acceptable standards and at a reasonable speed. If you don't pass your skills test, you will struggle to find another job as a qualified craftsperson, or even get onto a site. It's really important that you do as much as you can to prepare for your test. You should download the Test Candidate Guide from the CITB website to familiarise yourself with the content of the test. You also need to make sure you carefully read the joining instructions you've been sent. You should speak to your employer as soon as possible if you feel you need any refresher training, so that on the day you are confident and have the ability to pass. Make sure you know where your test centre is and how long it will take to get there. If you don't live near a test centre, don't worry, CITB and your employer will help you sort this out. On the day of your test, timekeeping is really important. If you are late, you won't be allowed to start the test. You'll be asked to prove who you are at the test centre, so you'll need to take photo ID with you. You also need to take your tools to the test. You'll get a list of what's needed from CITB. Don't forget to bring and wear the right personal protective equipment. If you don't, you'll be refused permission to sit the test. Before you start, you'll get a detailed induction, and you'll be given a test booklet containing a description of the test. It's important that you read the information for each task before starting. Each task has a description, drawing, and a list of the standards and tolerances that must be met in order to pass each element. What it doesn't tell you is how to plan the work, so you have to arrange your own work program. Only after you have read these notes and feel confident in what you have planned should you attempt the task. On the day, you will be allocated a test area and a stock of materials you need. If you're unclear on any aspect of the test, please ask the invigilator for advice. That's what they're there for. The skills test for stonemasonry lasts 16 hours over 2 days. It covers 2 key areas of stonemasonry. These are 1. The ability to build with stone, known as building or fixing skills, and 2. The ability to cut or dress stone, known as banker skills. There is no prescribed order in which the 2 elements are attempted. It is up to you which element you tackle first, but remember, you are responsible for managing your own time. To make sure the marking is carried out impartially, completed tests are identified by a number. Assessors do not know whose work they are assessing. You are required to set out and build stone ashlar and coursed rubble walls at right angles to each other. This structure is to be tied to an internal block wall, which you must also construct as part of the test. All mortar will be mixed and provided by the test centre. The completed banker skills element is to be built on the structure as a single piece of coping. Squares, straight edges and levels will be provided by the test centre, and the completed test will be assessed using the same equipment. You will be required to cut a moulding on a stone. All templates are provided by the test centre. Remember to check that your stone is as it should be and report any discrepancies to the invigilator. A moulding with fillet is to be dressed on the front face of the stone provided. It should be returned with an external mitre to a stop end, also known as an ashlar stop. Make sure to dress the return to the correct hand. The assessment process. Once you have finished and left the test centre, your test is marked by an independent assessor appointed by SBA-TC. They use a marking schedule which contains the same standards and tolerances as in the test booklet. The assessor marks your test against a schedule, stating whether each item is within the tolerance or not. Your test result will be either a pass or fail. There is no grading system, although feedback will be provided to candidates after the test. As all tests and test areas are standard, it doesn't matter where you sit it, in your college or another one. Here's an overview of some of the points your assessor will be looking for. The assessor will mark the completed building or fixing element of the test for accuracy within the given tolerances, to ensure that it is set out correctly. Plumb, square, level, built to the correct dimensions. The cavity between the internal and external walls remains clear and is not bridged by mortar. The joints are full and neat. The completed structure is clean with no smudging. The assessor will mark the finished workstone for the banker element of the test, using the same templates supplied to the candidate. The assessor will mark the completed stone to ensure it is honed within tolerances given in the instructions. The assessor will check that the stone has correct dimensions, that it is square, that it complies to the templates provided, that the tooling is neat and regular. After the assessor has marked your test, the schedule is then sent electronically to CITB. CITB then check that your marks are within the pass limit agreed by the industry, and if they are, you pass. You and your employer will then receive a letter confirming this in the coming week. If you fail your skills test, your letter will explain in what areas you need further supervised experience on site, and possibly further refresher training in college. An application form to arrange a resit will be sent out, but you can also download it from the CITB website. However, it's important that, before booking a resit, you think about the areas you failed in and why. If you think you need more experience or training, speak to your employer or apprenticeship officer to arrange this. If you have only failed in one particular element and passed the rest, in some occupations, you may get the opportunity to take a partial resit. This involves only resitting that section. Once you have passed your skills test, you still have to complete the time served element of your apprenticeship to be a fully qualified tradesperson. Your SBA-TC registration form shows the date in which you will complete your apprenticeship. By this time, you should have achieved your Professional Development Award, core skills, and all other units of your SVQ. This, combined with passing your skills test, means you would then receive final certification for your SVQ Level 3 and Modern Apprenticeship. You'll be fully qualified to work on a site in any country in the world, help you get any future employment, or even start your own business. Finally, good luck when it's time to take your skills test. If you need any further information on skills testing, please look at our website, citb.co.uk.